Greetings, Robert. It's Carl. Thanks so much for this note about the number one challenge, the biggest challenge, and the idea of clarifying upfront our added value. It's sort of deep empathy for that. Totally, I hear this frequently, and I don't know if this will be useful, but let me just tell you what I have found. You have to just show them, right? You can't clarify up front. And your next sentence, just saying we add value is not enough. When the client doesn't choose us, we're not able to prove that value. And then the next line too about reoccurring issues with expectations. I found that the best way to address both of those issues was to get really good at the first meeting, the discovery process, to create a space where somebody felt heard and listened to, where because remember, they don't actually care about your solutions. They care about their problems. What they have is a desired future state. And they're going to make their judgment about your value based on your ability to get them to that desired future state. So the way we shorthand say that is your value is desired future state discounted for uncertainty. And the uncertainty is 100% if you haven't taken the time to help them define their desired future state, which is what most people do in our industry. They just throw prescriptions. There's never a diagnosis. To use another metaphor, most people in our industry will debate endlessly and try to prove to you why you should take a car on the trip over a plane or a train. No one has stopped long enough to help you define where you're going, right? It makes no sense at all to argue about an automobile, a plane, or a train if you haven't even taken the time to define where you're going. So I find the only solution I know of how to do this, because any words like this, if you were to say this out loud, I mean, a little bit of that plane and the diagnosis stuff does resonate with the public. But if you were to say things like, you can trust me, we do comprehensive planning, I'm a fiduciary, none of that means anything to them. So you could tell stories like, have you ever been to the doctor? Have you ever been to a doctor that just threw a prescription at you? Would you fill it? No, of course not. Why? Because you weren't thoroughly diagnosed. You can say stuff like that, but even better, take them through the experience. Robert, why should we come meet with you? That is such a great question, Mr. and Mrs. Client. I totally understand it. Our industry is very confusing. You're not even sure what I do. Can I just make a suggestion? Come have a first meeting with me, and I'll show you what we do. And just so you know, the goal of that first meeting will for us to mutually explore whether this is a good fit. I'm not going to ask you for a commitment at the end of the first. I know you're used to people in my industry trying to sell you stuff. I'm not even going to ask you for a commitment at the end of the first meeting. You're going to go home and think about it. So just come and then give them that experience. That to me clears up the value, because they're suddenly like, oh my gosh, nobody else has ever even asked us why we're doing this, or what's important to us, or about the financial responsibilities we might have to parents or children, the impact we want to have in the community. Nobody's ever asked us, right? They leave kind of scratching their heads, confused by the grace, because they have clarity for the first time. Everything else is easy. That's the hard part. I hope that's helpful. Cheers. Bye.